How far did your in-laws go to force a name on your child? When I found out I was pregnant, my boyfriend Jake's parents were over the moon, but their excitement turned weird real fast when we told them we picked the name Emma for our daughter. Jake's mom, Carol, went silent for like 10 seconds, then said we needed to think harder about family traditions. See, Jake's grandmother Ruth had died 2 years before we started dating. She'd raised Jake when his parents worked double shifts, basically became his second mom. Carol kept saying how Ruth would have loved to meet her great-granddaughter, how the name would honor her memory, all that guilt trip stuff. At first it was just comments here and there. Carol would text me articles about naming babies after relatives. She bought little onesies with R monograms, claiming they were on sale. She even made Jake a scrapbook of his childhood photos with Ruth, pointing out how close they were. I tried being polite. Emma was a name I'd loved since middle school, something that felt right to me, but Carol wasn't having it. Things got creepy when she called my doctor's office pretending to be me. She tried to change the name on my pre-registration paperwork to Ruth Ann. Thank God my nurse Kim had seen me enough times to know my voice. She called me immediately asking if I'd requested the change. I was furious. Jake confronted his mom that night, telling her to back off completely. She cried, said she was just trying to help, promised she'd stop interfering. But then Jake's dad Tom did something that still gives me chills. About a week later, Tom asked Jake to drive out to the family cemetery plot, said he wanted to show him where they'd eventually be buried. Some normal father-son conversation about the future. Jake thought it was weird but went anyway. When they got there, Tom led him past all the existing graves to a newer section. Right next to Ruth's headstone was another one, freshly installed, made of the same gray marble. It read, "Baby Ruth Taylor, our beloved granddaughter, waiting to come home." Jake called me from the cemetery, voice shaking. They made a grave for our baby, with their name choice, before she's even born. I thought he was joking until he sent me a photo. A real headstone, professionally carved, expensive looking. They'd spent serious money on this guilt trip. Tom told Jake it was a surprise, that when little Ruth got older, she'd understand how important family legacy was, that seeing her name next to her great-grandmother would make her proud of her heritage. Jake lost it. Told his dad he was sick, that making a fake grave for a living baby was beyond messed up. Tom acted like Jake was overreacting, said it was just planning ahead. We went no contact immediately, changed our phone numbers, blocked them on everything. When Emma Grace was born 3 months later, we sent them one photo with a note that said, "Meet Emma, not Ruth." They tried everything after that, sent gifts to our house addressed to Ruth Taylor, called Jake's work saying there was a family emergency. Carol even showed up at the hospital when Emma was getting her shots, somehow finding out our appointment time. The final straw was when they filed for grandparent visitation rights, said we were keeping their granddaughter from them without cause, that they deserved a relationship with Ruth. In the court hearing, the judge asked why we'd cut off contact. Jake pulled out his phone and showed the photo of that headstone, explained how they'd tried to change medical paperwork, made a grave for our unborn child, and refused to use her actual name. The judge stared at the photo for a long time, finally looked up and said, "Case dismissed, and I suggest you folks get some counseling." We never heard from them again after that.